Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
So we're going to talk about something that many of you have no idea about. I happen to know about it, but when we get finished with this interview, you're going to know a lot, and I am sure you're going to want to do some of this. So we're talking about electrolysis. That's Electrolysis. Now, that's not something you eat. It's something that you have done to you to make you more beautiful and less annoyed with that hair in the wrong places. So I have LISE-ANNE Jensen here, who is a professional in electrolysis. That's what she does. Welcome to the show, LISE-ANNE.
Thank you, ANITA.
LISE-ANNE and I were talking, and I explained to LISE-ANNE that probably, I don't know, it could have been 10 years ago. It was a long time ago. I had heard about electrolysis. In fact, my mother, years and years ago, had it done, and she had told me about it, and so I thought, well, I wanted to have it done, and I started having it done, and I can't remember if it was on my face, but I do remember, and I'm just going to be very personal. I did it on my underarms because I thought that was a good place to do it, and then I did it in my bikini line because I really didn't want to shave. I actually, now I think about it, I actually had it done on my legs, some part. I didn't have it all because I still have a little bit. But it took over. I did it for about a year or two, but I have to say, LISE-ANNE, I don't have the hair that a lot of women and men have in the wrong places. Now you can talk.
Right. Well, electrolysis is permanent. So when you have it done, you get rid of it and it doesn't come back. It does take a process, though.
And let's talk about exactly what isn't like you wave a magic wand. What is it that you do?
I wish I could. So we have an epilator. And there's a probe attached to it, and you insert the probe into the hair follicle, and you deliver a small current. Now, there's 3 different modalities, so the type of current you deliver is different for each modality. You have to find the best one for each person. You said you had it done 10 years ago or more. Your mother had it done. It was different then, probably. The machines that they had, they've been perfected over the years, and I have a state-of-the-art machine. So you can have a couple of different currents delivered. You can do DC current, which is the electrolysis / what we call galvanic, which changes the molecular structure of the salt and moisture in your skin and creates lye, actually, as the current's being delivered. Or you can have the thermolysis, which is AC current, which creates friction with the moisture in your skin and creates heat, and then it desiccates the tissue. It's on a microscopic level. It's not something that affects the outside surface of the skin. It's all done within the hair follicle itself.
So do you choose which one is appropriate for that person?
Yes, I tend to use thermolysis because it works very, very well. There are some people who do a lot of research and they read that the galvanic does better. You can also actually overlap the two. The machine will do what we call a blend method and will overlap the 2 modalities together. So we have 3 modalities. And the thermolysis works really well, but some people do the reading and read the literature and they just want the blend no matter what you tell them. And it can take a little bit longer because the machine has to go through the time of delivering both those currents. So it could take 8 seconds or 6 to 8 seconds per hair, whereas the thermolysis is super quick.
Well, you're the expert. I would certainly depend on you to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just kind of go through this. One thing I was told at one point, as you know, you said older women have, have hair in places they don't want on their face.
Right.
And it's very tough hair.
Yes.
And it's white. And I once wanted to have laser. Excuse me, I'm going to have to get some water. Well, I'm leaving to get water. Why don't you talk about that? The
Okay.
white hair.
Okay. So the electrolysis works on all types of hair and all hair colors. So it works on white hair, blonde hair, red hair, very light brown hair. because I'm actually treating each individual hair within the follicle. And the laser doesn't work on white hair, or blonde hair, or red hair, because the laser light itself is red, and it's being attracted to the melanin in the hair. And those hairs don't have the melanin color for the laser to be attracted to, so it will not work on those hair colors.
Well, see, I know that because I went to someone that did laser, and she said, "Well, we won't be able to get your white hair." I said, "Well, then why would I bother doing? I have very few black hair left,
Right.
I think, or something."
Right. And it's really interesting to me because I get people who find me, but they tell me that the laser person didn't tell them they could come and have electrolysis. They found this on their own. So really, I'm also licensed to do laser. I have a CME license certification, which is for laser. So I understand the difference between the two things. And I think both things can go hand in hand. If you have a really large area of hair to get rid of, say a man's back hair or chest hair, electrolysis is going to take hours and hours. So I would definitely try to get it knocked down with, laser treatments, and then start the electrolysis when there's less, just to do the cleanup. Because you don't want to keep doing laser over skin that has barely any hair there, because the laser's, it's treating your skin in a sense also. So, if there's just a few hairs, just come get the electrolysis done to get rid of what's left. A lot of people have laser under their arms. Maybe they have 3 or 4 hairs left. Come in and get electrolysis and get rid of them.
Well, I was thinking as you were speaking, LISE-ANNE, that people should go to a professional like you and have an evaluation.
Yes.
And ask them, and you can tell. Do you look under a very magnified light to see all the hair they have, and then you can pretty much tell what you think you should do for them?
Mm-hmm. I actually wear medical loupes like a dentist wears. That's what I work with. It works best for me rather than the mirror. These are even more magnification. So I see everything. Actually, sometimes I'm working on people and they say, "I didn't realize I had that much hair there." And I go, "Well, you do."
Yeah, and the interesting thing about all this is, and I was telling you that I have some friends who get all dressed up, and for some reason, maybe their vision isn't as good, and they have these little hairs hanging from their chin,
right?
Their chinny chin,
right?
And I want to go and pluck them, and of course I don't say anything to them,
right?
But let me just tell you the worst thing. Now we're really talking about it, and I remember my mother was always very careful about the hair. That's why she had electrolysis. And as she grew older, really older, 80, she lived to be 94, and she had some Alzheimer's. And I remember my mother had the hair, and I would pluck it for her because I knew that somehow she couldn't explain it, but I knew how upset that she would be.
Right, right. Yeah, it really affects people's self-esteem. I know no one wants to talk about it because it's just sort of embarrassing that you have this problem. And I think people think they're the only one, but it's not true. There's lots of people walking around out there with hair on their chin, wiry hair. They're either plucking or shaving or waxing, and they have to constantly be aware of it and think about getting rid of it. Whereas they can come to me and, over a period of treatments, you can see the hair diminish and not have to worry about it when you're going out.
And it really doesn't come back. I mean, I can really attest to that. I mean, it takes a while because the way that the electrolysis... Now, we call you an electrologist?
An electrologist.
An electrologist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lady that used to do this for me would say that sometimes the root has 3 and 4 parts. So you have to get each one. Why don't you explain that?
You have to get the probe into the correct position. It has to be down near the bottom of the follicle where the root is. And each hair actually has a tiny capillary attached to it, which gives it blood supply. Hair feeds off of the blood supply. So you have to, what's called the papilla. So you have to get to that in order to destroy the root. And if you haven't put the probe in, far enough, we're working blindly. We're inserting into a follicle that we can't actually see inside. But if you have an experienced electrologist, we can tell when we've gotten to the bottom of the root. We can tell by the way that the skin dimples. So you have to get it in the right spot in order to get the hair. And sometimes hairs are deeper than even our probe is. And we can tell that also when we take the hair out. Hair slips out of the hair follicle when we've treated it correctly. And if it's too deep and we can't get to that spot, we're not going to completely get rid of that particular hair that time. But the next time when it comes back, we have a much greater chance of getting it. The younger the hair is, the better the treatment, the electrolysis treatment is. So when you're plucking hairs and suddenly, you see a short little stubby hair come out, that's the best time to come to us. Because when it's the youngest, the root is not as deep. It starts out shallow and it kind of grows in both directions as it's growing. So it's a shallower, younger hair that's easier to treat with electrolysis.
Well, this is quite a subject. So let me just tell you, if you are interested in this, I suggest that you make this phone call. You're going to be speaking to LISE-ANNE Jensen, and her number is 561-866-7400. That's 561-866-7400. And she will do exactly what she's telling you, because I know this works. Let me give you her website. It's serenityskin.inc.com. serenityskin.inc.com. Remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio, and we certainly want you to make note of all these phone numbers. Now, one thing that you say, if someone listens to this show, would you be able to just have them come in and just give them a consultation to see what it's all about?
Yes, I give complimentary consultations.
And it's really, and we were talking about women, but men now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, before we do that, talk about eyebrows, because I'm trying to remember if I had some electrology on my eyebrows. I don't remember that. But that's a great thing to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You won't have to be waxing or plucking your eyebrows anymore and having stray hairs. You'll have a nice shape to your eyebrow. I try to keep the natural shape of a person's eyebrows. I've even had people who have overplucked their eyebrows come in, and I've told them, look, let's grow them out. I'll clean up underneath, but I want to see your eyebrows grow out a little bit and fill in. I want to help people. I want people.
Well, one thing I know, and I was talking with LISE-ANNE, that she is an art major. She's really an artist, and so she's combining her artistry with doing something that is, I would say, medical. I mean, this is a very important thing that you just can't go buy a machine as you see advertised on television, where it says you buy this machine and you're going to get rid of your hair. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Usually those machines, they're not strong enough to really work in a short amount of time. Maybe over years they might work, but the FDA wouldn't allow anyone to purchase a machine outside of a medical office that is as strong as the ones that are in medical offices.
Well, this process is quite many years old, isn't it? I mean, this is when you talk about a galvanic and all.
It is.
Is it 100 years old?
It was started actually in 1874. The first person to ever do it, he hooked up a car battery to a needle to remove an ingrown eyelash. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't do that. We don't remove ingrown eyelashes. We're not allowed to work anywhere near an eye. But this is how it was discovered. Mm-hmm.
And it removed it, and wow, that is interesting. Well, I think that so many people listening to the show, I am sure, especially the women, have this problem, and they haven't really. I haven't seen this advertised, even though I happen to know about it. It's
Right.
not something you see advertised, but we're going to do that in Boomer Times, everyone. We're going to write some little articles, and because so many people go and they have their hair colored and they have their pedicures and their manicures, but when it comes down to it, people look at your face. They don't look at your feet because usually they're covered with your shoes.
Right.
But what?
I actually had a client tell me that she had it done on her feet, And because I've seen some people women even, with hair on the tops of their feet. And she told me that she never wore sandals as a young girl because she had hairy feet, but she had the electrolysis done years ago also, and she had it done on her feet.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. And so we hope that people will be learning about this, and don't be shy, and let's talk about it hurting. There is very minimal pain. I remember, and I think you put something on it first to clean everything before you start.
Right.
And you said when we talked about that it might just be a little red at first, especially if it's on your face, but it really goes away.
Right. With the newer machines, the one I have is the Apple's Platinum Pure, and it's a state-of-the-art machine. It delivers a very fast current. You get a little bit of redness while I'm working, but it tends to dissipate within an hour. Now, everybody's different. Some people have way more sensitive skin, so they might experience something that lasts a little longer. But in general, people's skin the redness is going away even while they're in my office. And the funny thing is while I'm working on them, the first time they come, they think that they're going to look in the mirror and have this crazy look, that they're going to be red and maybe they're going to have, marks or something. And when I finish and I hand them the mirror and they see that there's nothing there, they can't believe it.
Did you really do that, or are you kidding me, right?
Sometimes when they're on the table, I give them the mirror because I can tell they're getting a little nervous. I'm like, really, it's fine.
Yeah, no, it is something to learn about, and I really do approve of this wholeheartedly, I have to say, since I've had this. So let me give you the phone number again. It's 561-866-7400. And for people who are, shy about this, I mean, you're in a room with LISE-ANNE. You're not like when you're getting your nails done, there are 10 people there. But this is private. It's as though you're having a massage. The same thing, isn't it?
It is. It's a private room. I try to make everybody comfortable. I have the lights down because I'm working with the loops. I have a light that's on my loops. So the room is dark. I put nice music on. Some people come. It's the only time they ever get to relax.
Sleep.
Right? Some people do fall asleep. So it really depends on your sensitivity. Some people
you were up the night before?
Well, you shouldn't drink coffee before you come because that increases your sensitivity, the caffeine.
Oh, that's good to tell us. So any caffeine?
Yeah, any caffeine right before you come is not a good idea. At least a couple of hours, before. Yeah, you don't want to drink or come in with a cup of coffee.
Okay,
right.
That's good.
Right.
Well, I just love this, the fact that we've learned so much. I mean, even though I had this done many years ago, I really was very happy with this, and I am so happy that you took the time to come here and share this, and we will certainly just look for an article coming up in the next Boomer Times, and wow, this was just super. So, okay, well, thanks so much, LISE-ANNE.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to all be hairless soon, right?
It'll be great.